How can the consent castle be used in RSE? It can feel difficult to teach RSE in schools, but young people say they want and value RSE that offers them opportunities to debate and discuss important issues. This video explains how the consent castle can help teachers facilitate active and participatory RSE that is safe, inclusive and meaningful for pupils. The original Consent Castle comic was about the process of negotiating and establishing sexual consent and compares it to building a castle. Just like when building a castle, consent is a process whereby we need to be careful at the beginning while we build a strong and secure foundation brick by brick. We need to keep talking and checking in with each other. It will then become more natural as we feel more settled and secure, and we won't have to be so cautious. We may sometimes need to circle back if we want to try something new, just as we would if we wanted to start adding rooms to the castle. Consensual relationships require maintenance and sometimes even repair, just like a castle. So how would this work in the RSE classroom? Sex and relationships are undeniably complex. In today's society, people's lived experiences, attitudes, beliefs and understandings about sex and relationships, including around gender and sexual identity, can vary. Debates and discussions can be fractious, and division rather than perspective-taking, understanding and progress can result. The complexities of all this may mean that it sometimes feels safer for RSE to gloss over the issues and just to provide the facts. But could this represent a missed opportunity? How, instead, could RSE help young people learn about and practice how to discuss and debate complex and contested ideas and issues, and in turn develop their understanding of themselves and one another in ways that support tolerance, respect, and an ethical and responsible mindset? This is about RSE becoming space for developing and practicing emotional intelligence and resilience. Maturity and skills are needed to engage in constructive debate and to cope with different opinions and perspectives. Young people don't automatically have this. It needs to be built and encouraged. How might then the consent castle help? Sometimes when in a group, it can be difficult to know what other people think, what their experiences are or how they feel. It can be different when with friends, where people may feel more able to speak openly and candidly because they already have intimacy and connection with one another. They've learned about each other's boundaries and have developed friendships based on respect and care. In the classroom, there will likely be lots of experiences and perspectives among pupils that should be explored, but it needs to be carefully managed. Just like when you're building a castle, in the classroom it is important to lay the foundations and get the structure secure. This requires a careful and cautious approach in the beginning, where bricks are laid one by one with a recognition that pupils may feel unsure or uncertain about participating. This means that both at the start of the curriculum and when starting lessons on new topics in which there may be different views and experiences, pupils need to be mindful about how others in the classroom may be feeling. At this stage, it's better to be safe than sorry. Just like when laying the foundations for the castle, we might need safety equipment and protocols and clear communication in place. This involves raising ideas and suggestions, but doing so carefully, checking in to see how others are reacting, acknowledging that the issues may be sensitive for some pupils, asking questions and being honest about uncertainty and confusion, and doing so in the spirit of wanting to listen and learn about what other people think. And never making it personal. There's a difference between expressing an opinion versus saying that a particular individual or group has something wrong about them as people. Each careful and respectful contribution by pupils is another brick laid that strengthens the foundation. The teacher is there to ensure that different views are expressed and that the discussion is balanced. Just in the same way that the project manager oversees the construction of the castle, teachers need to make sure that the foundations are secure and everyone is happy. To do this, they need to pay attention to the power dynamics. Who is able to speak? Who is dominating? Who is silent? It is important to make sure that the foundations are based on understanding everyone's perspectives. This is where providing different opportunities for exchanging ideas can help. How about when starting to explore a new topic, pupils could be split into friendship pairs or small groups of their choosing to explore their initial ideas in a more comfortable setting, and then the different groups' perspectives can be explored as a whole class. It could also help to give pupils the opportunity to share their views anonymously, for example using digital methods or just by writing things down on a post-it note. If the teacher took these contributions before the class, they could then look at what has been said and pre-moderate the discussion to ensure a breadth of opinion and experience is covered. Once the foundations have been set and pupils feel more comfortable interacting and exchanging ideas, it can then become a more natural process or part of the classroom culture. Just as with friends, people don't worry so much, Over time, the exchange of ideas in the classroom can become more lively and pupils can be bolder with their contributions. They may even want to share their experiences from which others can learn. But just as a castle sometimes needs maintenance and things can sometimes go wrong, so too may the classroom culture. Maybe someone goes too far and says something insensitive that hurts someone else. At such points, it's important not to get offended or defensive, but to learn about how others are feeling and what needs to be done differently next time to maintain or repair the classroom culture. This is a key part of maturity and emotional intelligence. Pupils need to learn to cope when others disagree with them or raise a perspective they haven't considered. They need to be open-minded and interested in learning from others and perhaps even rethinking or reflecting on their views or understanding of a particular issue. The consent castle approach rests upon a positive vision for debate and discussion, in which the only way to learn, develop and progress, both as individuals and as a society, is for a constructive and healthy exchange of ideas and perspectives. But it is about how things are discussed and debated. It needs to be done respectfully, sensitively, and with the goal of genuinely learning and developing. The process of building this classroom culture involves laying, brick by brick, a climate of respect and tolerance through each contribution and discussion that takes place.